morning everyone. In this class we will be studying regarding the pollen pistil interaction and the artificial hybridization. Right? So the interaction that is going to take place between the pollen, so that is a male reproductive part, and the pistil, that is a female reproductive part, is called as a pollen pistil interaction. Right? So let me draw the diagram. So this is a pistil, this is a female reproductive part, stigma, style and ovary, right? So upon this there are pollen grains. Right. So the pistil is a female reproductive part and the pollen grain, so it is a male gametophyte. Right. So the pollination does not guarantee the transfer of the right pollen grain always. Means pollination does not bring always the right type of the pollen grain on the stigma. So oftenly the flowers are going to get the wrong type of the pollen either from the different species or from the same plant. So that are going to land on this stigma, right? So, but the pistil is having the ability. So this pistil is having the ability. So to know whether the pollen grain landed on the stigma is of a right type or of the wrong type. Suppose if it is of the right type, right? Suppose the pollen grain that has landed on the stigma is of a right type. So then what happens means this pistil is going to accept the pollen grain and it is going to promote the post-pollination events leading to the fertilization, right? So the pollination can either bring the right type of pollen grain or it can bring the wrong type of pollen grain. But the pistil is having the ability to identify whether it is of a right type or it is of a wrong type. Suppose if it is going to get the right type of the pollen grain, so then only the pistil is going to accept it and then it is going to promote the post-fertilization events, so that are going to lead to the fertilization. But suppose if the pollen grains or the pollination is going to bring the wrong type of pollen grain. Suppose if they are going to bring the wrong type of pollen grain, then what happens means this pistil is going to recognize it, right? And it will come to know that it is a wrong type of pollen grain. So then what it is going to do means it is going to reject the pollen. So it is going to reject the wrong type of pollen and it is going to prevent the pollen germination on the stigma or the pollen tube growth on the style, right? So this ability of the pollen grain to recognize the pollen whether it is of a right type or the wrong type, and then which is going to accept it or it is going to reject it. So this is all the result of the continuous dialogue between the pollen grain and the pistil, right? So this dialogue is mainly mediated by the chemical component of the pollen, so that is going to interact with the pistil, right? So this is regarding the pollen pistil interaction. So now following the right type of pollen grain. So whenever the right type of pollen lands on the stigma, so this pistil is going to accept it and it is going to promote the post-fertilization events. It means that this pollen grain is going to germinate and it is going to produce the pollen tube through one of the germ pores. As we studied that pollen grain is having an outer covering, that is exine, and this exine is having a prominent apertures which are called as a germ pores. So out of one germ pore, it is going to produce a pollen tube. So the pollen tube is going to form from this pollen grain. So this is a pollen tube that is going to grow from the pollen grain. Then what happens means whatever the content which is present inside the pollen grain, that is the generative cell and the vegetative cell. So the content of these two cells, it is now transferred into the pollen tube. So the content of the pollen grain is transferred into the pollen tube now. So now what happens means we have seen two types of pollen grains, right? So in plants in which the pollens are going to shed at 2 cell, and in some plants it is going to shed at the 3 cell stage. So firstly we are going to see the plants in which the pollen is shed at 2 cell stage. So the pollens which are going to shed at 2 cell stage, there what happens means now when this pollen tube is going through the tissues of the stigma, so the generative cell, so let me make it bigger. Here the generative cell is going to produce a 2 male gametes, right? So the generative cell now divides to form the two male gametes. Suppose if the plants in which the pollens are shed at 3 cell stage, the two male gametes are already present from the beginning. So here what happens means this pollen tube now grows through the tissues of the stigma, style, and then reaches the ovary, right? So then they are going to reach the ovary, right? So this is ovary now. So after reaching the ovary, what they are going to do means they are going to enter into the ovule. So we have already seen that a typical angiosperm has a anatropous ovule which is upside down. Right? So within this there is a embryo sac. So this is the micropylar end and this is the chalazal end. So towards the chalazal end there are 3 cells which are called as the antipodals, and towards the micropyle there are 3 cells out of which 2 are synergids and 1 big large cell is called as a egg, and in the center there is a polar nucleus. So this is the structure of an ovule. So here what happens means once it enters the ovary, so it is going to enter into the ovule. So it is going, this pollen tube is going to enter the ovule through the micropyle, right? So micropyle is the opening and where the integuments are absent, right? So this male gametes also travel along the pollen tube, right? So once the pollen tube enters or it comes in contact with the micropyle, here this pollen tube is going to enter into one of the synergids. So these are the 2 synergids. Let me mark them. So these are the synergids. This is a pollen grain. These are 2 male gametes. This is a pollen tube. This part is a micropyle. Right? So now this pollen tube will enter the ovary, and after reaching the ovary it will enter into the ovule through the micropyle, and then it is going to enter inside one of the synergids. Means there are 2 synergids. Out of 2, the pollen tube is going to enter any one of the synergids with or through the help of a filiform apparatus. So I said you this is a finger-like structure which is present here. Is called as a filiform apparatus. Filiform apparatus, right? So it is also believed that this filiform apparatus, it is going to guide the entry of the pollen tube, right? So let us see this. Pollen pistil interaction means it is an interaction between the pollen and the pistil. So the pollination does not always guarantee the transfer of the right pollen, right? So often the flowers are going to get the wrong type of pollen either from the same species or from the different species. So whenever the wrong or right type are present on the stigma, so the pistil is having the ability, because there is a continuous dialogue between this pollen and the pistil, right? So whenever there is a right type, it is going to accept. Whenever there is a wrong type, it is going to reject it. So once the right type of the pollen is landing on the stigma, the pistil is going to accept and it is going to promote the post fertilization events, so which are leading to the fertilization. So then what happens means the right type of pollen, it will start germinating on the stigma and it is going to produce a pollen tube through the style. So this pollen tube is growing through the tissues of stigma, style, and then it is going to reach the ovary. Suppose if it is the pollen which is matured at 2 cell stage, then the generative cell will divide into a 2 male gametes. Suppose if it is a 3 cell stage and already it is going to carry the 2 male gametes. So this pollen tube is going to reach the ovule and it is going to enter through the micropyle, and then it is going to enter one of the synergids with the help of a filiform apparatus, so which is going to guide the entry of the pollen tube. So this overall events right from the pollen lining on the stigma until the pollen tube reaches the ovule. So these all events together, they are termed as a pollen pistil interaction, right? So now let us study regarding the artificial hybridization. Okay, so the artificial hybridization. So this artificial hybridization, it is one of the major approaches of the crop improvement program, right? So what is this artificial hybridization means? It is a process in which only the desired pollen grains are used for the pollination and the fertilization. So this is a experiment, or it's a mechanism which is involving the cross experiments, and this cross experiment, in this cross experiment we have to make sure that only the pollen grains which are desired pollen grains have to be used, and the stigma has to be protected from the contamination. This process is mainly involving two techniques. So the first one is emasculation, and the second one is bagging. So these are the two techniques which are involved in the artificial hybridization. So whenever the female parent is a bisexual flower. So female parent, if suppose it is a bisexual flower, it will be having both the male and the female reproductive part. So in that case, what we have to do means we have to remove the anthers. So it is necessary to remove the anthers from the flower bud. So we have to remove them whenever it is in the whenever it is in the form of a bud. So we have to remove the anther during the flower bud before the anther dehisces with the help of a forceps. And that removal of the anther from the flower bud with the help of a forceps is called as a emasculation. So emasculation means removal of anthers. Removal of anthers is known as emasculation, right? So after the emasculation, what we have to do means we have to bag the flower bud. So we have to bag it with the help of a suitable size of a bag, which is made up of a butter paper, right? So this technique is called as a bagging. So why we have to bag means, or why we have to cover the flower bud with the help of a butter paper means to avoid the contamination of the unwanted pollen. So the other pollen which are not necessary, they should not contaminate the stigma. For that reason, there is a requirement of this bagging. So after that, what we have to do means we have to we have to leave it until the stigma gets receptivity. Once the stigma attains the receptivity, what we have to do means we have to take the matured pollen grains of the anther from the male parent and we have to dust it on the stigma. So once the matured pollen of the desired male parent is dusted on the stigma, so again we have to rebag it. So then we have to allow the fruits to get developed, right? So this is in the case where the female parent is a bisexual flower. Suppose if the female parent is a unisexual flower, so then there is no need of this emasculation, as it is already having only the female reproductive part. So in that case, we can directly go for the bagging. So the bagging should be done during the bud form, during the bud stage only. So once the bagging is done, so we have to wait until the flower opens and the stigma gets receptive. And once the stigma is receptive, so then we can dust the pollen grains of the desired male parent, right? And then we have to allow the fruits to get developed. So this is regarding the artificial hybridization. So it is involving two techniques. One is emasculation and one is the bagging, right? So till now we have discussed regarding only the pre-fertilization events, so which has involved the gametogenesis and the gamete transfer. So gametogenesis means microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. Gamete transfer means pollination. So in the next class we will be discussing regarding the fertilization and the post-fertilization events. Thank you.